New England Roller Derby Report would like to thank their production sponsor, Sociopath. Sociopath is a skater-run business offering custom sewn-to-order legwear for teams and individuals. Size-inclusive activewear designed to fit you. Sociopath also offers dozens of armbands and helmet cover options for scrimmage and competition. Team discounts are available. Please see Sociopath, SEWCopath.ca for more details.
All right, love it when they're size-inclusive. Hey now, I'm Bobby Narco. I'm joined by Token Redshirt. We are going to be bringing you this matchup between the Gotham Girls Roller Derby Wall Street Traitors and the Montreal Roller Derby Sexpos, a B-team battle.
It should be an absolute barn burner. Gotham B were up earlier and were absolutely storming form. The Sexpos played last night and really put the hurt on Helsinki.
Yeah, both of these teams beat Helsinki already. Montreal beat Helsinki 288 to 136. Gotham beat Helsinki 241 to 126. So both a similar spread in terms of beating them. Gotham girls also played this weekend. They beat Arch Nemesis 168 to 42. This is only the second game of the tournament for Les Sexpos du Montreal. It is a matchup of last year's 5-6 bout in the Go Big or Go Home B-Team Championships, which took place last year in Dallas, Texas in October. In that 5-6 matchup, it was a real slobber knocker. Only 7 points separated the teams when it all was said and done. Wall Street Traitors took 5th place with a score of 233, and Les Sexpos took 6th place with a score of 226.
So this one could really be a one to watch.
Indeed.
So while the teams get themselves organized and our officials get themselves organized, let's run down the rosters. Skating for Montreal is 03 Zelda, 06 Champagne, number 1 Mayday for JJ, 103 Mr. Miss Painkiller, 1969 Denada, 021 Wildcard, 26 Lisbeth, 0200 Thelma Track, 204 Scar2 Beat You, 221 Mother Tucker, 38 Black Belt Beauty, 343 Mojo Jojo, 62 is IE, 76 Pure Evil, 888 is Tiny Fury, 911 Nana Bisturi, 913 Blue Butt, and 972 is T-Punch.
And the captains for Montreal, Rev is going to be wearing the A. The captain is Mojo Jojo wearing number 343. And the coaches, Rev is going to be wearing the A. Young Boy, Jess Bandit, and Snap Daddy. Gotham Girls Roller Derby Wall Street Traitors going to be skating today in green with black and white accents. Number 00 is Anabolics. Number 08 is Aaron Watershow. Number 09, Kill Valentine. 110 is Switchcraft. 21, Bellatrix. Graduate of the Gotham Juniors program. If you're just tuning in, you might have seen Gotham Juniors earlier. Sutton Danger is wearing number 28. Number 409, Muffin Topless. Number 42 is Hieronymus Boss. Number 49 is Nightmare. Number 499 is Lomain. Number 5, Lady Fingers. Number 72 is Girl Friday. Number 913 is Stupidity and Beyond. Number 99, Sally Handsome. And the captain, number 44, Tiny Apocalypse. Coaches for the Wall Street Traitors are Violent Knockout wearing the A, Yeti or Not, Here I Come, and Ready Amy Fire. Fun fact about Ready Amy Fire, Forbes magazine listed Ready Amy Fire as one of the 30 under 30 up-and-coming professionals under the age of 30.
Sweet. So just as the players get themselves on the track and our zebras get themselves into the huddle, we'll get ourselves ready to kick off this Monster Derby bout. Don't forget, stay tuned to Facebook Live. Stay tuned to our feed. If you're not here, we have got an absolute barn burner of a game coming up later. Victoria Roller Derby against New Skids on the Block.
And we are being joined by a producer for this. We have Jet Li. Jet Li is going to be our producer today.
And we have Scar2 Beat You up jamming for the Sexpos with Staffinity and Beyond jamming for the Wall Street Traitors. And we are off to a blistering start as both jammers are up with speed and the defenses are scrambling. And it is Scar2 Beat You who almost gets out, but a last-minute block recycles her to the back of the pack.
Yeah, that was Low Main with the hip check. Way too far out in front. They're going to have to let Staffinity go. First lead jam to the Wall Street Traitors.
So Scar2 Beat You still getting frustrated by that Traitors defense, but now is out through and on a scoring pass as Staffinity and Beyond finds an inside line, picks up the 4, and calls off the jam.
Direction of play penalty coming in right before the jam was called off, so Sexpos is going to be down one blocker. First penalty of the game goes to the Sexpos for direction of play. And after jam number 1, as is often the case, we have a lead change. Oh, I've got my score sheet set up backwards, so I am going to do some rapid erasing.
And while we put up with the friction burns over at the announcers table, the Sexpos are going to line up while we listen to the wonderful strains of Faith No More. So we have Nana Bisturi, who was so dangerous on the track last night in the Sexpos game, managed to put up one of the highest scoring jams very early on. Switchcraft jamming for the Traitors. And the Traitors managing to scramble defense brilliantly and frustrate Bisturi, while Switchcraft has still yet to make the initial pass. So Bisturi stretching that lead out. Zelda in there with some offensive work, manages to give the assist. Nana Bisturi picking up 4. Switchcraft out now and on a scoring pass, as Nana Bisturi comes round and trips around the outside, just manages to get the hips beyond the 2 Traitors defenders, puts up another 4 points. That's going to take the Sexpos into the lead.
So 2 lead changes, 2 jams in.
Still early days. We are 27 and some minutes into the first half.
Whew, all right, my score sheet is now properly reversed. Caught that early. And we have Sally Handsome out there on the jammer line for the Wall Street Traitors. Going up against, who is that? Number 888 is Tiny Fury, and Tiny Fury has the lead jam.
No, Tiny Fury was pretty dangerous when we saw her at Beast. So we want to be careful not to give Tiny Fury too much room.
Oh, it's a power jam. Oh, no, that was the pivot that got sent to the box.
Yep. Tiny Fury meets Kill Valentine with some force. Both players are okay, but Tiny Fury recycles it back, can't find a way through, calls off the jam.
Yeah, right in front of the announcer's table, shaking her head like, I don't want to do this.
I'm done.
I got mine.
Traitors pick up 4, Sexpos pick up 3, so the Sexpos still 3 in the lead.
Ties the high score of the game for Wall Street Traitors. High score of the game for the Sexpos, the 8 points put up in the last jam.
It's number 021 for the Sexpos as wild card.
So it looks like we got wild card on the line for the Sexpos, and Stefinity and Beyond going back out to the jammer line.
I love it when the house announcers are one step ahead of us.
They have that advantage. They're looking at the uniform numbers on the jammer line. Stefinity is the lead jammer. She's 2 for 2.
And wildcard being recycled back to the back of the pack, and getting frustrated by that Traitors defense, making itself very wide. Stefinity and Beyond picking up a 4-point grand slam for another lead change. So the Sexpos marshalling that defense now. We've got IE up with, I think it's Blue Butt.
Forearm penalty called on the Montreal pivot. That is 103, Mr. and Mrs. Painkiller. Another penalty called on Montreal. It was an illegal position. No, the illegal position's on Tiny Apocalypse. So there are as many referees as skaters on the track right now. 7 skaters, 7 refs.
As Stefinity Beyond finds an inside line, picks up another 4 points. But wildcard with a star stash is now through and on a scoring pass, and with a little jammer on jammer action, Stefinity Beyond sent out, and rather than give wildcard an opportunity to get even, calls off the jam. 20 points, plays 11.
Yeah, a dozen points picked up there, more than Montreal has picked up in the first 3 jams, and the high mark of the game. And our third lead change of the game taking place in jam number 4. All right, Switchcraft out on the line for the Wall Street Traitors, number 110.
And I believe it's Donata now jamming for the Montreal Sexpos. Donata was also quite dangerous on the track yesterday in both the offensive and defensive capabilities. So it is Switchcraft who is lead jam for the Traitors, but we have got Donata who is close on the skates. And we have Friday being sent to the penalty box for a back block, and something quite ludicrous happening on the track.
Direction of play penalty coming in. That's on number 03, Zelda.
And jam called off. So no lead change this jam, thankfully.
4 points on the board. I don't know, lead changes are fun.
They are.
4 points on the board for the Sexpos brings them up to 15. 3 for the Traitors brings them up to 23. Overhearing the house announcers, I know Scar2 Beat You is going to be the jammer for the Sexpos. First jam since jam number 1.
And I think she is. No. And we also have Stefinity on beyond. Not the first time Stefinity's been jamming with us today.
So 6 jams in, leads are even. Each team has 3.
Scar2 Beat You marshalling that offense, trying to get an open line.
2 Montreal skaters in the penalty box, 1 Gotham skater in the box. So again, as many refs as skater.
So Scar2 managing to extend that Traitors line, so they're called back. That gives them an opportunity to reform.
Illegal position called on number 03, maybe Zelda? I thought it was a 08, but I don't see one on my board.
And Scar2 manages with an assist from Zelda to pick up another 4 points, siding through that defense, closing now on the Traitors.
Yep, Traitors put up 4 of their own, keeping that 8-point margin.
Both teams now marshalling defenses, stymieing the speed that the 2 jammers have put up so far. So this is going to slow the game right up.
Directional play penalty coming in, that's 03, Zelda.
Champagne rejoins the track.
Oh, it was 06 that I saw that I thought was a 08.
Scar2 still has the lead. Stefinity Beyond now 4 points up on this jam. And Scar2 calling jam off, giving us a 12-11 scoreline.
Wow.
So the Traitors 35-26.
So Sexpos nearly double their score, and Wall Street Traitors increased their score by nearly a third.
And the crowd getting quite a display from Mayday Vijay.
Mayday Vijay is a hoot when not skating, has been seen around the arena wearing a bonnet. She's a blast.
A pretty floral bonnet. And we have Nana Basturi, who is out at speed as lead jam for the Montreal Sexpos.
3-0-5 back block. That's got to be green 0-5.
Yeah. And we have Nana Basturi through for a quick pickup of 4. Sally Hansen just approaching the scoring pass as Nana Basturi calls it off. That's going to bring the Sexpos within 5 points.
Each team with their pivot in the bin. The Banque de Pénalité, brought to you by Restaurant Gus.
So history is any barometer. This should be a tight game. The rate is 5 points.
No stoppage of play. We're 10 minutes in, or 9 minutes in and change.
To go in the opening half. Wild card and Stefinity and Beyond.
Stefinity and Beyond going to be jamming for the Wall Street Traitors. That is number 913. And Wild Card taking the star for Montreal, number 021.
So
looks like Sexpos have a 5-jammer rotation.
So Stefinity Beyond up against IE right in front of the announcers table. IE very stable on the skates with an assist there from T-Punch.
Yeah, great quarterbacking by T-Punch.
Yep. The release is called, and so Stefinity Beyond is out now as your lead jammer, but that was a good 30-second chunk of time it took to get a lead jammer out.
No pack is the call. Blocking continues, no call.
Wildcard with star in hand is now trying Star Stash to get through.
First, no, that's a pivot penalty. Forearm on the Montreal pivot.
Pack's called, pack reform. That's going to allow Wildcard to be out and scoring. Stefinity Beyond is still yet to score.
Well, yet to complete that scoring pass. Points on, we'll see how many. It is all 4, just incrementally. Extends the lead now 39-30.
Fun fact for you, one of Nerd Derby's first audio streams was the Rock Coast Rollers against Mayday's old team, the Lumberjills.
Nice.
You can thank Chad for that one.
I thank Chad for lots of things. Chad and Beth from the New England Roller Derby Report. We are broadcasting on the Montreal Roller Derby Facebook page. Thank you for joining us. Oh, first stoppage of play occurs with 19 minutes and 20 seconds left, and it is an official timeout. No, it is a team timeout. It just hasn't been shown on the scoreboard, but it is Montreal's team timeout.
Skating officials for this game led by Feminist Killjoy.
So, speaking of officials and timeouts and whatnot, let's take us through our officials for the game today. We have Aggie Battery, Matant, Bert Hurt, Taboma, Bad Wolf Archer, Derriere, Chucky D, Aggie Battery, Tara D Nightmare, and Tim Refuse.
Aggie Battery was on there twice.
Yeah. Aggie Battery is the head NSO, so they list them for being the head and for their position. And you want to take us through who's on skates there, Token?
So on skates, we've got Feminist Killjoy, Righteous Oxide, Carmen Dragon, Jean-Philippe Haman, Wonder Zebra, M Power, and No Shanksy.
Oh, No Shanksy.
No Shanksy was getting some medical attention earlier on. I'm not sure he's returned to skates
Oh,
yet.
good catch. Can you see who's out there instead?
I really can't.
Maybe Jet Li can help us out with that. We'll find out. Or we'll find out at the half. We'll correct ourselves at the half on who that extra.
Kilt Trip.
Oh, Kilt Trip. There's the eyes.
Well, Kiltless Trip.
Yes. Kilt Trip had his kilt taken. Let's say taken. I don't want to say stolen. Somebody might have picked it up by accident, but Kilt Trip is kiltless and now in bicycle shorts.
So we have Tiny Fury is jamming for Montreal, but out in the lead is Switchcraft. As Tiny Fury is being stymied, lending a hand to the defense and recycling Switchcraft back. Rather than trying to get a bit more of a lead, let's hold the Traitors to as small a score as possible.
Direction of play penalty coming in. That is on Wall Street Traitors. Looks like Nightmare.
And that's Lisbeth going to the penalty box. Tiny Fury has finally found a line on the outside and is out now on a scoring pass as Switchcraft calls off that jam.
Forearm penalty right at the very end on I, number 62, going to report to the Restaurant Gus Banque de Penalité.
Nice.
4 points on the board for the Traitors, brings them to 43.
It also looks as if Low Maim is into the penalty box.
Ah, okay. So now more referees than skaters. Both teams with 2 in the bin. A 3-on-3 action.
Okay, and we have Donada now, who is jamming for the Sexpos, out as lead jammer. Sally Hansen recycled back, and so is taking a bit more of a running start, but that chaos in the backfield with a combined offense-defense.
Great block by Nightmare.
Yeah, has given Donada the opportunity to come through and pick up 4. Having not placed anything out of bounds, able just to pick up and keep running. And so calls off the jam, having picked up 4. Before Switchblade could pick up anything, so difference is now 9. So that was a big hit by Nightmare.
And we have a palindrome score, 34-43. If you're home, take a sip of your favorite beverage.
So a big shoulder hit there from Nightmare, which sends Donada onto the track. Lovely replay. Thank you, Chad.
All right, heading into the next set of whistles, we have Switchcraft on the line for the Wall Street Traitors. And who is wearing the stars? 2-0 something. 204, Scartu Bichu.
Yeah, Scartu is the one of Sexpo's go-to jammers. There's just a level of agility that Scartu has.
Multiplayer block sends Nightmare to the penalty box. Had been empty.
Scar2 recycled back. That's going to give Switchcraft an opportunity to come up.
Another
And makes it Zelda being called for a directional penalty.
Lee has gone to Switchcraft. Breaking up that. They had been coming in pairs.
So out on the toe stops around the side of Mr. Miss Painkiller gives Switchcraft a score of 4 before she calls off the jam. Scar2 laser focused on the back of that pack trying to get 4 points. And if you're not quite catching it, do delight at the Wall Street Traitors third turn coach who's currently jiving. So that's lovely.
Always fun.
Always fun.
.34 playing 47. We are about a quarter of the way through regulation.
Wild card for Gotham, Stephinity and Beyond.
Stephinity and Beyond donning the spangled helmet cover for the Wall Street Traitors, and wild card is the jammer for Montreal.
Slow start to this jam.
Indeed, yeah, don't let the lack of motion fool you. We have started. Jean-Philippe Amon blows a multiplayer block. Let's see who leaves. It is one of the Wall Street Traitors, so attack advantage now for Les Sexpos. That was Girl Friday. Thank you.
Welcome. So wildcard wearing the star is recycled back.
Yeah, that's Bellatrix, the pivot.
Yeah, Bellatrix doing a great job of that last minute block. You've got Sexpos up on turn 1 who are really stymieing Stephinity and Beyond at this point.
Brace 2 walls, just almost impenetrable.
Yeah.
Direction of play penalty coming in. That should loosen things up a little bit. Now it's a braced 1 wall,
That's
but here comes the cavalry.
It's pure evil. There's one thing the Sexpos do really well is that recycle scramble.
And now Muffin Topless headed to the penalty box. Didn't see the call on Muffin.
And T-Punch and Zelda making things really tough for Stephinity and Beyond, but called the reform. Zelda called for a multiplayer block, so that's the second time she's going into the penalty box this half for the same thing.
Muffin Topless comes out of the Hudson Valley Horrors prior to playing for Gotham Groves Roller Derby. Big shout out to my friends up in Hyde Park, New York, the Hudson Valley Horrors. 3 points on the board for the Traitors brings them up to 50 and 34. So roughly a 2-to-1 ratio if you use 17 as your common denominator. 3-to-2 ratio, I should say, if you use 17 as your common denominator.
Your brain works way faster than mine does.
I love my 17 timetables.
Don't forget, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, you can interact with us by commenting on the thread, and I'm sure at some point we'll get around to talking to you.
Anonymous Sturi wearing the star for the Sexpos, and Sally Handsome wearing the star for the Traitors. So 9-11 playing 9-13. Is that right? Sally Handsome going to 99.
99.
9-11 playing 99.
Yeah.
That's a great poker hand.
Nana Basturi is very quick on those skates and is right up on the back of Sally Hansen. And it's Nana Basturi with an apex jump who manages to pick up some points before Sally Hansen can actually call off that jam.
Yeah, the referees are conferring on the inside. There was some contact midair. We might get a penalty on that, or might be deciding whether or not points would be awarded. And Violent Knockout is very curious about this conversation.
So let's watch the replay.
Oh, here we go.
So there was some contact midair. It looks like there was a skate put down.
They might be
out of bounds.
They might be, and now you're on a true 2-to-1 with the 3-to-2 rather. 51 playing 34.
Interesting. So the Traitors picking up 1 point. And we're going to see the score call. Yep, the Sexpos pick up 3.
So is it a team timeout? No, it's an official timeout.
I believe they're just calling that to confirm the score.
And it stops the clock for only the second time at 12 minutes and 29 seconds to play.
So over in the back, you can see with the black hat, that's Sosis, one of our house announcers, and standing just behind the Zebra team will be exposed the rather wonderful form of Mr. Whistler, albeit very briefly. So it's one thing that we love about the Georgia W Tush is that it absolutely brings out the real celebrities in the announcing crew.
Yes, absolutely. Star-studded cast here.
And me. So we're all good.
Now you fit right in. First time working with you, though, and I'm thinking we're finding our stride right away.
I like to say I'm adaptable. So we have Tiny Fury up against Switchcraft. We've got Nana Basturi starting in the penalty box.
So a penalty was assessed on that. Not sure what it was. Probably an illegal contact. That's what I'm going to put in my on my score sheet.
So Switchcraft is out as lead and sole jammer. So power start for the Traitors. That's going to give them an opportunity to put a bit of a lead onto the Sexpos, give themselves a bit of a breathing room. And trying to find a line between IE and Pure Evil, as many jammers have tried today and struggled and failed. And there's the assist from Nightmare and allows Switchcraft to really get up. Nana Basturi is now back on track and has already completed her scoring pass, and Switchcraft has picked up a track cut penalty and has gone into the sorry, I heard Sexpos on the house coming. And has gone into the penalty box. That's going to bring up a power jam for the Sexpos and give them an opportunity now to close that gap.
So each team has a jammer penalty here in jams 13 and 14. Nice hit by Lo Mein, but she's too far out in front. They're too far out in front, and they are going to the penalty box for illegal contact.
And I suspect we're going to get some medical attention from the folks at Le Boîte Thérapeutique, so we're just going to cut the feed away for a little bit, give them some privacy while they sort it out. In the meantime, we'd like to take the opportunity to remind you that the WFTDA Championship will be taking place outside of the US for the first time ever and is coming to Montreal on November 15th to 17th. Tickets will be available from Monday on the WFTDA site. It's at Centre Claude Robillard.
Yeah, it's a lovely venue here at the Arena Saint Louis, but it is not big enough for WFTDA champs.
No, we need 3,000 seats.
Yeah.
And 3,000 seats is what we're going to get at Centre Claude Robillard. Competition will be stiff for those tickets, so please get in early, as I'm pretty sure the announcer applications is going to be similarly busy.
Can we see who that is that's getting the medical attention?
It's Nana Basturi.
Oh, okay.
So the refs are just going to confer as to what happened and why. And we're going to send off one of our producers to go do exactly the same thing. Oh, and Nana Basturi is up. Much to the applause of the crowd. And this is one of the many reasons I love Derby, is that even anybody gets applauded. If they suffer an injury, we go quiet, and then we applaud them when they get up. Don't forget you've got a kill switch there, dude.
I think that kills us both, though.
No,
if
it only kills you.
Only kills me. Good. Chad knows his business. Kill Bobby.
Yeah, see, I pressed that in my first game and then coughed, and it came out straight over the stream.
There you go.
I'm owning it. I did that 100.
Don't know if we gave you the point tallies. There were 4 for the Sexpos and 4 for the Traitors. Brings us up to 41 to 55. 11 minutes, 11 seconds left to play.
Babies at trackside seating? Yeah, they're pretty far away, and they're being supervised by parents, so.
Yeah, that's in the Montreal alumni seating section.
It really is.
Nice to have a seating section for your alumni.
I didn't think juniors went that low.
And to be an alum.
Right.
All right, take us up to the jammer line, will you, Token? Who do we have?
We've got Donata jamming up for the Sexpos and Switchcraft jamming up for the Traitors. This is Donata's first lead jam for a couple of run-throughs. Switchcraft is not lead jam, but is very quickly closing.
Yeah, actually, the last lead jam for Montreal was Switchcraft. Was 1969. Was the jammer that we have out there, Donata.
Yeah, Switchcraft tried an apex jump, but ran straight into the back of Mr. Miss Painkiller. Donata called off the jam on that one, and I suspect we're going to see some bodies go into the penalty box as a result.
So 11 to 9 is your ratio, using 5 as your common denominator. Just over 10 minutes left, and we have an official review being requested by Montreal.
Yeah, I suspect that's going to be for the incident that we just saw at the back end of turn 2.
So 3 stoppages of play in the last 3 jams.
Yeah, legs get tired, players get tired. This isn't the first time that Gotham's been out today. This isn't the last. This won't be the last time that Montreal are out. So, yeah, a little stiffness and soreness probably with the Sexpos, and the Traitors a little tiredness, and there's a little ill discipline creeping into play, I think.
Token, are you a skater? You talk with the wisdom and perspective of a skater.
I wasn't until about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
I signed up for my local roller derby leagues 101, having never worn skates, never grown up in this country, so I like the ankle strength. And now I have a brand new appreciation for exactly how hard this is. Seriously, this is ridiculously hard.
Yeah, I went through Gotham basic training and I made it through 2 classes and hurt myself and did not get a refund, didn't go back, but found my place officiating and announcing.
That's one thing. If I end up passing my mins, I've got a very difficult choice. Do I skate or do I announce? I love this job.
You can do both. There are lots of people who do both. Some of the best announcers are skaters. Mary Chaos comes to mind. Mary Chaos announces, officiates, and skates.
Wow.
Trifecta, triple threat. And is president of the Association of Flat Track Derby Announcers.
So she's the person I have to bribe.
Yes.
Right, cool. As long as I've got a name, a number, and $50.
Send a Facebook friend request. Save yourself the $50. Oh, wait, no, send yourself the postage stamp.
I don't use stamps.
Oh.
I grew up digitally. As soon as email came in, I was like, I'm done. Yes.
Not caught on the camera. I got a loving tap on the shoulder. Oh, you dotty old man.
Well, I teach children, so condescension is kind of like a second language.
All right, so Jet Li's going to listen in while the announcers talk, while the house announcers talk about the what the gist of the official review and result is, and then once they say it, Jet will tell us, and then we'll tell you. Jet, you'll hear it over. You'll hear it over the PA. You don't have to go anywhere. The head ref, Feminist Killjoy, telling the coaches what the result is, and now the house announcers will be allowed to say it.
Montreal was asking for a discussion about a potential low block to have been issued to Gotham's Jammer. However,
so Montreal wanted a low block issued to the Gotham Jammer, but on further review, the no call stands.
no penalty to be issued, and Montreal will not retain.
So only skater in the penalty box is Low Mame.
Yeah, so all the action on the track was judged as legal. No penalty required. And action starting just a little bit early with a little pre-whistle position change. Tiny Fury jamming for the 3rd time, I believe, up against Definity and Beyond. And it's Definity and Beyond who is out as lead jammer. And just watching these two jammers hit pace as Tiny Fury tries to knock Definity and Beyond off her balance, but doesn't quite succeed. Definity and Beyond very stable.
You either have an incredible memory or you caught a peek at my score sheet, because that is the 3rd jam.
I was making it up. Did I get it right?
Yeah, you absolutely
Wow.
did. So 3 points on the board for the Traitors brings them up to 58. No points for Montreal, keeps them at 45.
Anybody who knows me knows that I largely talk for my own amusement.
Gotham 58, Montreal 45, just over 9 minutes left in the opening half.
Skatu Bichu is up against Sally Handsome. And it's Skatu Bichu who finds a line on the inside of Kill Valentine, but picks up a forearm penalty for her troubles and is going to the penalty box. That's going to give Sally Handsome a clean track, well, a track devoid of jammers,
yes,
for about the next 30
lots
seconds.
of blockers.
And it's one thing the Sexpos are good at, is spreading those blockers out wide across the track. Mayday for JJ there, making her butt as wide as possible. As Norman Reedus observed recently at a derby game, the butt is an offensive weapon.
No pass, no penalty, so this is our first jam without a lead jammer.
And with no lead jammer, this one's going to go the full 2 minutes.
And also our first 2 minute. Oh, did we have another 2 minute jam that just naturally went 2 minutes?
Yeah, I just don't think that anyone called it off.
So I'm barking this on my score sheet as our first 2 minute jam, but I've been wrong before. I could be wrong right now. I guarantee you I'll be wrong again.
Well, being wrong is the essence of being human, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why I use a erasable pen.
I just go for it full ball. I don't even know what that means. Skatu really struggling, but finds a line on that back straight and gets past Nightmare and manages to pick up, well, a scoring opportunity on this pass. That was her initial pass.
Yep.
Sally Hansen is stuck behind that defense. Unfortunately, we've got officials in the way.
So both jammers are on their first scoring pass.
Escati recycled to the back, now has to try and make her way through that Traitors defense again.
Yeah, both teams are utilizing that brace 2 wall, dedicating some to bridging. Now the Sexpos pivot doing some wrecking ball work. Direction of play penalty loosens things up.
And that's going to give Scotty Beachy an opportunity to pick up 4. That's going to bring the gap now down to 9 points.
No one left on the direction of play penalty yet.
So with 4 points scored by both teams, score now stands at 62-49. One good power jam is going to turn this game over.
2 good power jams will bring it right back.
This is Mr. Painkiller being assessed.
There it is. There's that direction of play penalty. It was on the pivot, Mr. and Mrs. Painkiller. And they did get 2 penalties for not leaving the track in a timely fashion.
So that'll be a full minute. Mr. and Mrs. Painkiller has to sit out as we've got Wildcard jamming up for the Sexpos and Hieronymus Boss. I think this is her first at jam for the Traitors.
You are correct, sir.
And it's Boss who is out as lead jammer for the Wall Street Traitors.
Perfect 1 for 1. 9-13 also perfect. Stepfinity and Beyond is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5 on the jammer line. Direction of play penalty coming in. Who's leaving? Nobody yet.
This will be another minute penalty if they're not careful. That's 4.99.
Lomaine.
That's Lomaine. So they'll be sitting out in the next little while in the penalty box. Boss is now trying to go up against Pure Evil. And I can't see who Pure Evil is braced against. It's 0-6 Champagne. And the line opens up on the outside for Wildcard. And Wildcard with the Star Stash manages to get through on a scoring pass. That's Mr. Miss Painkiller is now back on track and offers just a little bit of truck trailer work, but the jam's called off for a pickup of 4 for the Traitors.
So 66 for the Wall Street Traitors, 49 for the Montreal Sexpos. Heading into jam number 19. Lots of jams. Short little jams.
66, Montreal Sexpos 49.
Well, if you can't win with the big scores, win with death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes, that was the term I was looking for. We got an official timeout. Both coaches are on the infield talking things over with Feminist Killjoy. Our 5th stoppage of play in the first half.
Okay, don't forget, folks, the WFTDA postseason is on its way. August 9th to 11th is the Continental Cup North America West in Orem, Utah. The 23rd to the 25th of August is the North America East Continental Cup. That's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. September 6th to 8th is the International Playoffs in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The 13th to the 15th is the playoffs in Seattle, Washington, and the Continental Cup Europe this year in Helsinki, Finland on October 5th to the 6th. And as already mentioned, the international champs taking place right here in Montreal, Quebec in Canada. First time outside of the US, November 15th to 17th. Tickets go on sale Monday.
Get yours, be here, or be sorry you're not.
Now, who's making toast?
Yeah, really, I smell it too.
I was worried I smelled toast. You're all smelling it, that's fine.
We're all either having a stroke at the same time or someone's making toast.
We're having a collective stroke, and no, that's not dirty.
Hey now.
Yeah, that's right, I said it.
Yeah, you did. You stand by it.
So we still have some tournaments coming up in the season. We have...
Yeah, next weekend there's 2 going on, one on the east and one on the west. Hometown Throwdown going to take place in Portland, Oregon, hosted by the Rose City Rollers. And then the East Coast Derby Extravaganza that same weekend on this side of the, on the east side of the United States. Well, this is the east side of the continent.
Yeah. Travel south a bit, you're there.
Yeah, there you go. Feasterville, hosted by Philly Roller Derby. East Coast Derby Extravaganza started in 2007. had the privilege of being one of the first voices on the mic. I sang the national anthems.
Nice.
Back in 2007, before I was an announcer, back when I was just a fan.
Now, I know you guys are currently in the middle of being tuned in to our Facebook live stream on the Montreal Roller Derby Facebook page, which is fantastic. Don't forget WFTDA are doing Watch With Wednesdays on Twitch, and during the champs and the playoffs, don't forget there is Free Game Friday. First game of every Friday session will be free on Twitch.
That's nice. Give
It's beautiful.
Something back to the community.
It's how I watch roller derby when I'm not live watching roller derby.
JRDA All-Stars will be taking on your new skids on the block.
Yeah, Victorian Roller Derby League will be taking on the new skids in the game coming up after this one. By which point I think Chad will have earned a very large beer.
Yes.
And a very long sleep. Just like that dog.
That is Kanga. Kanga the Derby dog.
Isn't she adorable?
Yes. All right, looks like we're back ready to play. Scoreboard has not been changed. The points are the same, the scores are the same, the personnel in the penalty box is the same. So whatever the official timeout was about did not affect the score.
We've got Donata up as lead jam for the Sexpos. So the Sexpos have used this time well to reorganize lines and redistribute staff.
All three of the last lead jams for the Sexpos have been Donata's.
And we've got Stefinity and Beyond, who is jamming for the Traitors. Donata picks up 4 points, and it's Stefinity and Beyond who's gone into the penalty box along with another Traitors player. So that's going to give a 5-3 pack advantage to the Sexpos and a power jam.
Did you see the call on Stefinity?
I did not, I'm afraid. I think it may have been a track cut.
Illegal position called on Tiny Apocalypse here at the first apex, the top apex.
Yeah, she was way out of position and hadn't reformed. So that's now 5-2. So the Sexpos could be putting in some major offensive work, giving Donata a clear track. But they are currently bracing, waiting for players to come back out the track. Donata picks up a track cut penalty, having put a skate out of bounds with that last block. So that power jam has turned over now to the Traitors, Definity and Beyond.
Second 2-minute jam of the game.
Yeah.
Illegal position, illegal contact on Mojo Jojo.
So that's going to give Definity and Beyond a great assist now with 4-3 pack advantage.
Nice block by Paco, opening up that outside line for Definity and Beyond.
That's great. T-Punch was held up, didn't manage to get that block across.
Finding that inside line now.
Yep, so that's going to draw the scores level on this jam as Donata comes back.
Actually, unevens them. They were level. That extra 4 put Gotham up to 12.
That'll teach me for reading the scoreboard, won't it?
Your lips are faster than the scoreboard operator's fingers. 3 more points. Illegal position coming in at the very end, so somebody's reporting to the box.
So with 15 points on that jam, that's going to put the Traitors 20 points ahead now with 2 minutes 50 left on the clock.
That was T-Punch reporting to the penalty box. So 3 skaters in the bin. Low Mame wearing the pivot stripe for the Wall Street Traitors. T-Punch and a teammate in the bin for the Sexpos.
Yeah, unfortunately we're trying to get a replay on that Bellatrix block to send Donata out, but there was an official right in the way of the camera.
Man.
So we didn't manage to catch it. Tiny Fury up against Switchcraft.
The 12 points put on the board by the Sexpos, their highest tally of the game. The 15 points put on the board by the Traitors, their highest tally of the game. Now take us back to the present.
So Tiny Fury is out and lead jam for the Sexpos, much to the delight of the onlooking crowd.
Third time this game that the Sexpos have had back-to-back leads.
And I believe this is Tiny Fury's second lead in the game.
888. 1 for 1. Yes, correct. 2 for 4.
And that's not the first time that the jam's been called off by Tiny Fury with very little gain. Very quick and eager to call it off when stymied behind the blocker. I think she likes the free space and likes the speed.
So it's 9 squared playing 8 squared, almost. 8 squared minus 1. 9 squared playing 8 squared minus 1.
Scotty beat you with a great reversal. Manages to get out lead jam for the Sexpos. Sexpos keen now, I think, to get to get some more points on the board before the half. Zelda being sent to the penalty box for a directional block as Hieronymus Boss.
Big hit by Lo Mame right in front of us.
Yeah, and calls off the jam as she falls.
Only the first time that the Sexpos have strung 3 leads in a row together. Less than a minute left to play. 67 on the board for the Sexpos.
So Scotty beat you getting high fives from both Goronado and DJ, who are watching from trackside. Hey, Kanga. So this will probably be the last jam of this half. And it looks as if we've got Wildcard jamming up against. Put it up on the scoreboard. Be helpful.
Infinity and beyond.
There we go. Thank you very much. And it's Wildcard who is up and through. Manages to get by Sutton Danger. And shrugging off some last minute harassing from Anabolics.
4 leads in a row now for the Sexpos. So that ties the streak of 4 leads that the Traitors had in jams 11 through 14.
Sexpos really now tying up to Infinity and beyond as the game clock goes dead. As soon as the whistle goes, we're into halftime.
Yeah, some free derby, some added derby.
Zelda moving in to lend a hand and opens up a line for Wildcard, who picks up 4.
I heard a whistle. Didn't see the call, but Nightmare's leaving.
As Wildcard comes around, score up, and picks up another 4. We've got a track cut penalty being called against Per Evil. The Sexpos 8-0 up on this jam as Infinity and Beyond dashes that star in the hope that she can get through. That.
Look at this is an 8-point game. You were right. We're one big jam away from having a contest. Only 8 points separating these two teams as we head into halftime.
So we're going to take a little break. Before we do, we'd like to remind you the New England Roller Derby report would like to thank their production sponsors, Sociopath. Sociopath is a skate-to-run business offering custom-sewn-to-order legwear for teams and individuals. Size-inclusive activewear is designed to fit you. Sociopath offers dozens of armbands and helmet cover options for scrimmage and competition. Team discounts are available. Please see sociopath.ca for more details.
All right, come on back in about 11 minutes. We'll have some statistical analysis and the second half of the Wall Street Traitors and the Montreal Sexpos.
And welcome back. It's Token Redshirt, and with me is Bobby Narco. Bobby Narco, who's been mathing the hell out of our Derby presentations today.
Work them numbers. I got some more numbers for you if you're interested. In terms of jams, there were 22 jams. There were 10 lead jams for the Montreal Sexpos and 11 lead jams for the Gotham Girls Wall Street Traitors. So very close in terms of leads, just a slight edge for the Wall Street Traitors. And in terms of jammer penalties, there were 3 jammer penalties for the Sexpos, 2 jammer penalties for the Wall Street Traitors, so just a slight edge for the Wall Street Traitors. Neither team has passed the star, and the scoreboard showing that slight edge for the Wall Street Traitors. One jam had no score. One jam had no lead. That was jam number 17. 2 jams went the full 2 minutes. Those were jams 17 and 19. And there was no jam where both teams were held scoreless. In terms of percentages, Montreal has been putting 5 jammers out in fairly even rotation. Wildcard 1 for 5 on the line. Denata 3 for 4 on the line. Scartabichu 2 for 5. Tiny Fury 2 for 4. Nana Basturi 2 for 4. Going to be hard to pick on MVP jammer for the Sexpos, at least based on the first half. And then Gotham Girls Wall Street Traitors primarily relying on 3 jammers. Switchcraft 4 for 7. Staffinity and Beyond is 5 for 8. Sally Handsome only 1 from 5. And there were 2 relief jams by Hieronymus Boss. Hieronymus Boss was 1 for 2 on the jammer line. Individual high scores, the highest, both came in jam number 19. Number 1969 put 12 points on the board. Denata put 12 points on the board for the Sexpos. And number 913, Staffinity and Beyond put 15 points on the board for the Wall Street Traitors, which remains the high mark of the game heading into the second period.
For those of you who tuned in to the juniors game earlier on, the highest scoring jam we had was 32.
Yeah, my goodness. That's 7 scoring passes.
Yeah.
No, wait. So eight
Yes.
scoring passes.
It was a really, really impressive game, and Gotham have got some real bench strength from the juniors.
They really do. It augurs well for the program. Again, the augurs well for the Montreal program also. Junior Derby is the future of this sport.
It really is. I was talking with Mr. Whistler and Lightning Slim at the break that last year Montreal put out a real strong team at Fresh and Furious when they took down the Smash Squad. And there were a few of those players who'd graduated up into the senior leagues who were playing at Beast this year.
Yeah, you already see on Gotham, Bellatrix, number 21, coming out of the Gotham Juniors program and already skating for the Wall Street Traitors. Can the All-Stars be that far in her future?
And because I kick myself if I didn't say so, if you find...
All right, we are almost ready to get started on the second half. Looks like Sally Handsome going to be wearing the star.
And it looks like Denata's lining up as first jam out for the Sexpos. And it's Sally Handsome who gets out ahead of Denata, but Denata is very, very close behind. So this is going to be a race to the pack now to see who can get through.
Yeah, the pack wants to control the top so that they don't get past. But all green jerseys in the back.
And the pack's hitting speed. So just before Denata manages to pick up any points.
Our first scoreless of the game.
Yeah. So you'll notice that what happens when we get 2 jammers out with speed like that, and they are so close, is that the pack will speed up and try and extend the amount of time that it'll take those jammers to get through. That gives an opportunity for their jammer to get out as lead and to put a bit of a lead on the opponents.
All right, penalty box is empty. Oh no, there's one skater standing in the penalty box, so a slight pack advantage for the Wall Street Traitors. Tiny Fury and Staffinity and Beyond.
Yeah, that's Per Evil rejoining the pack. So both packs at full strength now.
I think the reason I set up my scoreboard backwards is we have our rosters opposite the scoreboard as well. Staffinity picks up lead, 2 leads in a row for the Wall Street Traitors.
Yeah, Tiny Apocalypse threw a hell of a block there on Tiny Fury and managed to get Tiny Fury out of bounds, which has given Staffinity that option.
Nightmare picks up an illegal contact, but it's almost worth it, forcing the jammer all the way to re-engage at the pivot line. 4 more points on the board for Staffinity.
You know, it's not the first time that Nightmare's picked up an illegal position penalty. She's got to be getting close to her penalty counts right now.
Jet, were you able to check on penalties for us? No. Well, we'll get them later. No worries. All good. 75 playing 87.
As we listen to the wonderful tunes of our Montreal Roller Derby DJ.
Oh, some great DJs. Well, great tournament all around. The referees are top-notch. The teams are fantastic. Even the DJs are wonderful.
And Switchcraft there with a real a real early lead out and lead jammer. But Skatu beat you with a massive hit as she cleared the pack and now has a bit of a run in front with Champagne doing the duty. Extends that lead over Switchcraft, and calls off the jam.
So our second scoreless. We didn't have any scoreless jams in the first half. Already 2 here in jam number 3 of the second half.
If you were the Traitors, I can understand why you would want this, because the Sexpos now want to put points on the board, and they are desperate to put points on the board, trying to get.
It's only a dozen points separating these two teams. I would want to conserve clock regardless of the team that I was skating on. But I'm a conservative person in terms of sports, not politics, just sports. Staffinity and Beyond is the jammer for the Wall Street Traitors.
And is out as lead. Skatu Bichu finds an open line on the inside. Second time for Skatu now on this jam, this half, sorry.
Yeah, 2 jams in a row for Skatu Bichu. Double duty.
That's another 0-point jam by the looks.
Holy cow.
No points being awarded on, no, there they are, 2. 2 points.
So we've taken at least 3 minutes off the jam in the last 2 jams. 3 minutes off the clock in the last 2 jams. Oh, we got points on. Ha ha, good catch there, Token.
Officials calling a timeout.
And we'll go to an official timeout. We'll take this opportunity to remind you that Monday sees the release of the postseason tickets for all of the events from WFTDA, which includes the International WFTDA Championships here in Montreal. That's being held at the Centre Claude Robillard. That's the venue, which is bigger than where we currently are. Not that we don't love where we currently are, because it's great here.
Yes.
But we need, more seats. We're just sending our producer off to go find some info for us. And possibly to get some beer.
For us to enjoy after the broadcast.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a zero alcohol sponsored broadcast. It is, however, largely supported by Throat Sweets.
And of course, supported by Sociopath, proud sponsor of the New England Roller Derby Report, Nerd Derby.
And we've got to thank Nerd Derby for really pulling out all the stops to give us an absolute fantastic broadcast. And I noticed Chad is desperately not making eye contact with me as we compliment him on the wonderful work that he's doing. Yeah, take it, Chad. Take the compliment.
So this official timeout brought to you by the foul out of Zelda. Zelda has fouled out of the game, and somebody else is in the box serving that penalty. It looks like 76 per evil.
Yeah, that's not a surprise for Zelda. Zelda did pick up a number of illegal contact penalties in the first half. So Sally Hansen is out and out early as lead jam for the Wall Street Traitors. The Sexpos yet to get their jammer wildcard into any kind of position where she can come through.
Sexpos also yet to get lead jammer this half. 5 leads in a row.
Sally Hansen picking up a forearm penalty sent to our penalty box. And so this will now be a power jam for wildcard.
And our third 2-minute jam of the game, first of the half.
Wildcard is straight in the face of Nightmare, and Nightmare is saying, no, 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 try another route. So she does. She finds one and goes out on a scoring pass.
That's a cut. So that will release release Sally Hansen, the Traitors jammer.
And that's going to give her a power jam.
It'll be a discounted penalty for wildcard, but not much because Sally Hansen was standing when she was released.
Per Evil trapped behind the Traitors line, so she can't offer anything in the way of help to her jammer. Sorry, her jammer now just coming back out onto the track.
Got another whistle. And that is I heading to the penalty box.
So Sally Hansen now up and trying to fight past Pure Evil.
Another cut coming in. Who's it on?
Yeah, that's Sally Hansen again. Second cut this.
Sally Hansen's got points.
Oh,
Cuts
my
on
apologies.
9-1-3.
Blue
Blue
butt.
butt. Both teams have a 9-1-3. That'll be confusing someday.
Yep, 5-3 pack advantage now to the Traitors with 8 points to nothing on this jam.
That dozen puts the Wall Street Traitors up over the century mark. 101 is a prime number. 75 is not. Roughly a 4-3 margin ratio. Roughly a 4-3 ratio.
76.
Timeout requested by the Montreal Sexpos.
And Sexpos call a timeout. So, Bobby, what are you thinking of this half so far?
All Gotham so far this half, a different story than we had in the first half, but lots of skating left to play. We're only 6 minutes and change in, so lots of skating left to do. Anybody's match yet. Points can come in bunches. A couple of 12s, and this game's tied right back up. 12 and a 13. And we are rocking round the clock. That is number 137 for the Wall Street Traitors, coaching Big Banger. Having a good time here in turn number 2.
Who doesn't have a good time with Bill Haley in the comments?
Theme song of Happy Days.
The original one, yes. Before, you know, Sagol hums. Whatever that word was. I still don't even know what a Huckleberry Friend is. I can't even work out Sagol hums until I've got that one down.
All right, let's get back to the roller derby action on the track now that this timeout is over. Token, who is jamming?
So we've got Switchcraft jamming up for the Traitors and Donata jamming for the Sexpos. Not the first time these two have faced each other. I don't even think this is the first time they faced each other in this half. And it's Switchcraft who has lead jam on this one.
Well, it is the first time they faced each other this half, but I'm absolutely sure you're right that it's not the first time they've faced each other. They faced each other in jam number 15.
Yeah. So Donata is now out and scoring, having been released by Tiny Apocalypse.
It's actually only the second time they've matched up, though. Jam number 15 was only the first time that those two were paired up on the jammer line.
Okay, and
so we have the foul out by Zelda, and we also know that Painkiller is sitting on 6 penalties. Thank you, Jet, for that awesome information. Always nice to have a crackerjack producer. 4 points on the board for the Traitors brings them up to 105.
76 for the Sexpos. We've got a 29-point game.
Sexpos have only put 1 point on the board this half. That is a lot of zeros.
They're going to need to start getting something going this half, unless Traitors are going to run away with it if they're not careful.
Tiny Fury and Staffinity and Beyond are your jammers.
And it's Divinity and Beyond who is out as lead jam, but Tiny Fury is not far behind, and Tiny Fury can really put the speed on.
Penalty coming in, didn't see the call, but that is a Montreal Sexpo skater heading to the box. And the jam is called off. All right, 1 point on the board for Montreal brings them up to 77. 2 points on the board for the Traitors brings them up to 107. So 3 sevens and an ace on the board.
On the jammer line, facing Sally Hansen.
Wall Street Traitors are at full strength. Montreal down 1 blocker. Here we go.
It's Per Evil again in the penalty box. She's got to be getting close to a foul out right now. Scar2 beat you, finds an open line on the inside of turn 1 to take lead jam for the Montreal Sexpos. The Sexpos really need to do something with this jam.
Hey, guess how many leads the Sexpos have had this half?
This will be the first one.
It is indeed.
And Sally Hansen is now out and scoring. Scar2 beat you, ducks, weaves, bobs her way through and manages to pick up 4 points.
Yeah, Rev says keep it going. Go ahead and let them score because we're going to score again. Trust your defense.
Mojo Jojo trying to put the hurt on Sally Hansen, but Sally Hansen manages to slink by, gets 4 more points. Scar2 beat you, putting another 4 points up on the board.
Great job getting around Lady Fingers. In fact, drawing a track cut on Lady Fingers.
Scar2 again picking up another 4 as The Montreal defense manages to keep Sally Hansen behind them.
That matches the high mark of the game, put up on the board in jam number 19.
And Skatu Beat You hits a hole in the defense and manages to pick up another 4 points. A track cut is issued to Sally Hansen, and she's going to the penalty box, which is going to bring on a power jam for Montreal. Montreal now closing in on that Wall Street Traitors lead. We've now got
I was wondering if they were going to
14
call it
points.
off after that pass to freeze the jammer in the box and get a power start out of it, but Rev says, no, keep it going.
Keep it going, let's get more points. And with another pickup of 3 right at the last, that's going to take the Sexpos across the century. And with 23 points, that's going to be our highest scoring jam of the game. The Sexpos now within spitting distance of the Traitors. Not that we spit in this sport.
Yeah, brings Montreal up to 10 squared. And it is only a dozen points separating these two teams right now. Ooh, here we go, wild card and switchcraft.
And it's Switchcraft who is out lead, having managed to just get her hit by Blue Butt, and is out with space. Wildcard has really struggled with the Gotham defense this game so far, and even with an assist.
Huge separation between the packs.
Yeah. And with an assist by Champagne and being released by Nightmare, she is now out and scoring.
I don't envy the camera operator when the packs are that far apart.
I don't envy the camera operators.
All right, are we scoreless? Or are we conferring about points? We can't be scoreless yet.
No, we've got 3 points going up for the Traitors right now. And it looks like the Wall Street Traitors they have a power start. Wild card picked up a penalty.
Mystery penalty there?
Mystery penalty. I suspect a track cut.
It's always good to suspect a track cut. They're very suspicious. All right, so power start. Hieronymus Boss is donning the star. Only the 3rd jam of the game for Hieronymus.
Yeah, but really stamps her authority over this jam. She is out and with I've already said authority.
She's 2 for 3 in terms of lead jammer status.
And right out on the outside, this 5-3 pack, this 5-3 pack, 2 pack advantage. Sorry, I'll get the numbers right in a minute. Is really hurting Sexpos. Mojo Jojo with a last-minute jam.
Yeah, last line of defense, but still knocks the jammer out.
But you've got to give it to Tiny Apocalypse for holding up Mojo Jojo.
Jojo and ultimately gets a track cut for the effort, but I still think it might have been worth it. The cut was signal. It felt like an illegal contact, but the call that came in from Kill Trip was definitely a track cut.
So Boss calls that off after picking up 8 points on that jam. That's going to extend the lead to 23. Sexpos still in with a shout.
So we had been as close as a dozen points. We had been as close as 8 points when the half started. Now we're back to a 26 point, 11 points now on the board. That score was just adjusted.
So we've got 2 players in the penalty box, 1 from each team, so both.
And they're both pivots.
And they're both pivots.
Stripy helmet covers.
Not that the pivot's been doing much good for them so far. There have been no star passes in this game. Donata jamming for the Sexpos is out as lead, but Staffinity and Beyond is very quick to get around. So we'll see what Donata can do with this.
Back block called on Nightmare. Nightmare's made a lot of trips to the penalty box.
Yeah, she's going to be close to fouling out now. 2 points picked up by the Sexpos as Donata called off that jam as she was being blocked out by Nightmare.
We are going to have a lot of jams in this half. We're almost 3/4 of the way done. We're already into 11 jams of this half. We had 22 in the first half. 33 jams in this game. I guess we're on pace for 44. Maybe even more because it's not quite the 3/4 mark.
It's not quite, no.
Take us out to that jammer line, will you, Token?
So Switchcraft jamming for the Wall Street Traitors and Tiny Fury jamming for the Sexpos. It'll be interesting to see if Tiny Fury can actually get out lead. Switchcraft is being sent to the penalty box, and so we'll now have a power jam for Tiny Fury.
Illegal contact was the call on Switchcraft.
So now it's up to the Sexpos to try and disrupt those traitor lines, give Tiny Fury some help and get her through and scoring, and they start swarming now. Tiny Fury finds an inside line with a little bit of assist.
Nightmare gets a back block, goes right back to the penalty box.
So Tiny Fury picking up 4 points.
All right, 5 scoring passes for a tie.
Switchcraft now back on the track and is quickly by.
That's the initial.
Initial pass has been made, so any point she makes now a bonus. And Tiny Fury calls off the jam.
3
Jinx,
more
Mr.
points.
Whistler, you owe me a Coke.
All right, 109 play at 126, 7 points picked up there. It is a 17-point game.
17 points, 15 minutes. Montreal Sexpos have called 2 timeouts already. The Traitors have not. They still have a full complement of 3.
Both teams have their official review. And now we are under the 3/4 mark, and it is an official timeout with the clock frozen at 14-47.
So official timeout is pretty much over, and we're back to the action. As we have Skatu Bichu, who is jamming for Montreal and pushing against that double brace wall. Manages to separate the pack. They're called back, releasing Skatu Bichu as your lead jammer for the Sexpos. Stefinity Beyond sides between Champagne and T-Punch to get out and scoring passes. Skatu beat you on the outside of turn 1. Manages to make a clean pass and picks up 4.
So that is 3 leads in a row for the Sexpos, Les Sexpos.
And a lovely inside move on turn 2 at speed with momentum pushing through. That's going to bring them within 9 points.
Got a physical reaction out of Jet on that.
It's good when the game gets a reaction out that it produces. And Skatu Bichu again hits an open line on the inside to pick up another 4 points. Now within 5.
2 scoring passes.
As we're getting a direction penalty called against T-Punch, so she's going to the penalty box. As Skatu runs into the Traitors' back line. Pace slows down now as both jammers are struggling to get by the defense.
Muffintopoulos now guarding that inside line. And Paco guarding that outside line.
Yeah, the Traitors really have this one. Perival now up, guarding that inside line away from Stefinity and Beyond. And the jam's called off.
16 points for the Sexpos brings them up to 125. Traitors did get 4 of their own, so it brings them up to 130. We have a 5-point game.
We have a 5-point game.
And just as a reminder, last year's B team champs of the battle for 5th, 6th place was only a 7-point differential. So it's going to be a much lower scoring affair. That one ended with 233 to 226.
So who best to throw out as a Sexpos?
Yeah, that's an official
jammer.
timeout. The whistle confused the skaters. They all thought it was time to go. So back-to-back stoppages of play both on OTOs.
So it looks like the Sexpos are lining up Donata, which is a good choice for this one. Trying to close that 5-point gap, and it looks as if
that might be 42.
Traitors. That
might be Boss.
Hieronymus Boss.
It might be. I've been wrong before.
You'll be wrong again. But we love you anyway.
It is Hieronymus Boss. I can see the 42.
Hieronymus Boss will be jamming, so it'll be interesting to see both of these jammers explosive off the line if they.
Traitors trailing by leading by only 5.
Yeah.
Putting a relief jammer out there.
Yeah.
There's some confidence.
Yeah, but Boss on that last jam found an open line and she just
and picked up 11 points.
Yeah. So relief jam could be.
But it was a power jam.
Yeah. True. But it'll be interesting to see the start nonetheless.
Yep. 1 blocker advantage for the team in green. If you're just tuning in, congratulations. You picked a wonderful time to join us. It is 130 to 125. This is a B team matchup, the Montreal Les Sexpos and the Gotham Girls Wall Street Traitors. You are watching on Montreal.
And it's Donata. Donata out as lead jam with a great hold on the toe stops off that last jam, off that last block. Boss is not far behind though. So this may be a hit and quit it.
Kill Valentine is the pivot for the Traitors and has been sent to the penalty box.
Oh, there's a pile up in turn 3. Donata calls off the jam, having picked up 3 points. No game for the Traitors. All players look fine. Well, I say fine.
A skate lace thin 2-point game.
Skate lace thin. Have you seen skate laces? They're thick as anything.
Well, that's why it's 2 points.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a ball bearing point,
Yeah,
ball
right.
bearing thin 1-point game.
So,
Official
3 points.
timeout, of course,
Third
because
official
you know,
timeout. Because why not?
because 3 in a row is the charm. Short one. Whistle's been back blown on.
So we have 110. That's Switchcraft, who was jamming up against 21. That's wild card. I'm not sure this was the wisest way to go for Montreal. And there's wildcard proving me wrong, finding an outside line and getting out as lead jam for the Sexpos. Something's lit a fire under the Sexpos, it seems.
We're going to have our third lead change of the game in just a second.
And there's Switchcraft, who is released. And that's Sexpos, who has been called for a track cut. So this is now a power jam for the Traitors.
I think with the points on, we've had the lead change, but we won't find out until after the penalty's done, and then it'll be another lead change back.
Yeah. Sexpos really scrambling now to keep Switchcraft behind them. The Traitors up and trying everything they can, throwing bodies into the mix to break up that quartet and give their jammer some space to breathe. So the Sexpos doing a great job of killing this penalty right now. But finds a line on the inside and stays inbounds, so that's 4 points for the Traitors. As Wildcard rejoins the track. Let's see what Wildcard can do.
Resumes the scoring pass that she was on.
Yeah, sells the dummy beautifully, but skates out of bounds. That gives the Traitors enough time to regroup in turn 3.
And the bin is empty once again, so there are 10 skaters crammed into turn number 3. Believe it or not, it is an abattoir out there. Cover off in the middle of a scoring pass. New jammer number 06. First star pass of the game.
First star pass of the game in 06 is Champagne, who is now jamming. No, Star Stash. That was Wildcard who used the Star Stash and a handoff fake to get out and score. And an apex jump on turn 3. Unfortunately jammed out, blocked out, so she's now going to have to rejoin behind the pack and make her way through again. So 4-4 on this jam. Sexpos within 2 now of the Wall Street Traitors.
And I'm going to call that 2 lead changes on that jam because those points were picked up before the trip to the box.
And 2-8 scored. So Traitors 138, Sexpos 136. With 9.5 minutes left to go, this could be a thrilling game. The bleachers have filled up since about 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Already a thrilling game. That's going to be a Montreal trifecta, right? Last game of this of the evening is also They did their juniors, then their B team, then their A team. So it's a Montreal triple header to end day 2 of La Classique Georgia W Tush. Very fittingly so. Tiny Fury is wearing the star for the Sexpos, and Staffinity and Beyond is wearing the star for the Traitors. Action has commenced. We're actually 15 minutes into this jam, 15 seconds into this jam.
Try being 15 minutes into a jam, Bobby. That's got to suck.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny Fury, who with 2 transitions gets beyond 28, Sudden Danger, and then another spin to get her past. Number 5, Ladyfingers, and is now your lead jam for the Sexpos.
Good job staying down to not draw that track cut. Nothing. Oh my goodness.
So I think it was Ladyfingers with that last block to get Tiny Fury out, and so nullify any score.
Ladyfingers, a veteran of Gotham Girls Roller Derby, skates for the Brooklyn Bombshells on the home league.
So we have got Skatu Bichu lining up for the Sexpos and somebody lining up for the Traitors.
Let's see if we can get that's Hieronymus Boss, number 42.
Boss. Again, another 2 very explosive jammers. And it's Skatu Bichu who senses the open line in turn 1 and hits it for lead jam. Hieronymus Boss is being caged in beautifully. T-Punch.
7
Champagne.
lead jams in a row for the Sexpos. Still trailing.
IE lending a hand.
Not anymore!
And Skatu Bichu takes 4 points, and we've got a lead switch. 140 to 138.
First star passes the game, number 09. Now the jammer Kill Valentine for the Wall Street Traitors.
Her first jam tonight, even after accepting the pass. And Skatu Bichu putting another 4-point pass on the board before calling off the jam. So that's going to take the Sexpos to 144 and the Traitors to 138. We're just waiting for the scoreboard to update, as I'm pretty sure it will.
They are talking things over there in the second apex, the bottom apex, about how many points were accrued. It was a 3,
3
4 and a
points,
3.
so 143 plays 138. We now have
5-point game.
5 points the other direction.
And the last time these two teams met back in the B Team Champs, it was only a 7-point game. Switchcraft now wearing the star for Gotham, but picking up the lead. Donata.
So let's see what damage Donata can do on this pass. But Switchcraft knocked Donata out, and so is dragging Donata back as far as possible, all the way back to turn 2, and then gets a running start. So a lot of gamesmanship at play, gamespersonship at play right now. As Donata finds an open line on the outside of the home straight and picks up 4 points for her troubles. It's Switchcraft who's now up with Mr. Mrs. Painkiller, Mojo Jojo, and struggling to get by that brace wall.
Penalty box is empty. Everybody crammed now into turn number 1. One of the narrowest parts of the track.
Yeah, there's a lot of footwork going into that. And we finally got a block out of Switchcraft, but a directional block being called on Lisbeth, and so being sent to our restaurant gas penalty box. As is Mayday for JJ. Donata not making any more gains, picking up another 4 points, my apologies. And so putting the lead now up to 13 points.
Gotham will take their first time out of the game.
It's the first time the Sexpos have had this big a lead.
Yes.
While we take this team timeout, our lovely volunteers are coming out and checking the track. It is still in a fit state for skating. And our lovely coaches get to take a breather and a break. And so shall we.
Like to thank our host league, Montreal Roller Derby. They are treating us like rock stars. Also like to thank the New England Roller Derby Report doing the broadcast all weekend long, Chad and Beth, and their phalanx of camera operators.
And their phalanx of dog fans.
Yes.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, you got some love from Kanga.
I'm getting some love from Kanga. Hey, Kanga. My thumb is not a chew toy, my friend.
So captains are out. Mojo Jojo and Rev are out there politicking feminist killjoy. And it's going to be an official review. This Gotham timeout has morphed into a Sexpos official review.
So not exactly sure what this official review is going to be for. It may very well be for some of the action we saw in that last turn.
Look at these leads in a row for the Sexpos. How many is that? 8? 8 lead jams in a row for the Sexpos.
Yeah, don't forget the Helsinki B game we had earlier. There was a dearth of 10 jams where... who were they playing?
Here in jam number 18, both teams have had 9 lead jams.
Yeah.
Kind of mirroring the first half where it was 11 to 10.
Yeah. So the arch rivals managed to put up a 10-point unanswered lead jam, and that pretty much spelled the end for Helsinki's chances in that game.
We will find out. That will be the All-Stars of Victoria Roller Derby League.
So the Zebra Huddle continues. So we'd like to remind you that we still have 2 tournaments coming up in the year. We've got the Hometown Throwdown in Portland, Oregon between June 21st and the 23rd. And the East Coast Derby Extravaganza happening in Feasterville, Trevose, Pennsylvania between June 21st and 23rd. So if you're deciding which one to go to, Consider travel times.
Both of these teams this year have played the Naptown Roller Derby Tornado Sirens, the A team out of Naptown. The Traitors beat them. The Sexpos did not, but they were both close games. So both of these teams are strong enough, both of these B teams are strong enough that they are playing other leagues' A teams.
Dude, you said Naptown, and all I can think is a town now that's full of beds.
Naptown, not related to Flushing. Kind of next door to Flushing.
In which case, Naptown, not that sleepy a town. More a getting rudely awoken in the middle of the night kind of town.
All right. But no, Flushing is in New York. Naptown is Indianapolis.
I'll pretend I know where those places are.
Indianapolis is in Indiana.
Okay.
And
I'll pretend I know where that is. That's in the States, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
kind of in the middle. Ooh, power jam. A brewing as Switchcraft is being sent to the penalty box. Let's listen in on the house announcers and figure out what's going on. But some penalty is being assessed to Switchcraft, so it'll be a power start. It was a track cut.
And the call has been issued.
And Scotty Beachy, who is up and jamming for the Sexpos, is out as lead jam. Switchcraft starting in the penalty box for a track cut penalty. The official review was upheld.
10 lead jams in a row. 13-point lead.
And this is why the Sexpos are outscoring the Traitors at the moment. The Traitors are just not able to get their jammers out first. Scotty Beachy putting 4 points on the board.
17-point lead.
As Mayday the JJ rejoins the track, as does Switchcraft. So both teams now back up to full complement. Scotty Beachy is now up with the Traitors defense and manages to transition her way and spin free to pick up another 4 points. Switchcraft running on the toe stops, inside and out, but can't get past Pure Evil, cannot get past Erin Watershow. No, that's the wrong person. Champagne. Nailed it.
Penalty box is empty. Everybody is out there on the backstretch. High block is the call, and it's on Switchcraft.
So another power jam for Scotty Beachy, second in this jam. So I dare say this one's probably going to go down to the 10 seconds now.
21-point lead. They could, as soon as they see her stand, they could freeze her in a penalty box, get a power start.
Yep. So Scotty Beachy taking that option now, picking up 4 points and calling off the jam. That's going to give Switchcraft about another 15-20 seconds in the box. And we've got 3.5 minutes left in this game. Montreal Sexpos 163, Wall Street Traitors 138.
A 25-point lead for the Montreal Sexpos, and an official review being called by the Wall Street Traitors. Would not be at all surprised if the official review is asking for a back block. There was some suspicious behavior here in turn number 2. I don't think he knows who Wenser is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Should have said Mr. Whistler.
But Jet out there getting some intel for us, going to tell us what the gist of this official review is all about.
And there he is on camera, look.
Oh, yeah.
That's Jet Li in the white hat.
The one not in stripes.
The one not in stripes. If you think I don't do this on the house mics when I'm announcing our home games, you are kidding. I sing everything.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Jet, what do we know? Do we know what they were challenging? New York wanted a... Okay, so the no call stands. New York wanted a penalty assessed.
All right, who here is cheering for the Wall Street Traitors?
House Mike's pumping the crowd, asking who's cheering for the Wall Street Traitors. You're about to get an eruption of noise when they ask who's rooting for Montreal. Yeah, home team's going to win the cheering match. 12 points on the board, 163 for the Sexpos, no points for the Wall Street Traitors. Leads them at 138. 3 minutes and 27 seconds left to play. Here we go.
And it's Donata out on a running start and is lead jammer for the Sexpos. This is now 11 in a row for the Sexpos.
Yes.
Switchcraft is still in the penalty box, but on her feet and is now back on the track. The Sexpos have got a great triumvirate defense back there as Donata hits an open line on the outside of turn 1 to pick up 4 points. And it's Blue Butt there with a huge check on the left to send Switchcraft out and recycle back to the pivot line. And we've got somebody watching from Australia. Hey, Jess McCall. Thank you for joining us.
Very likely that both of these teams will be heading to the B Team Champs that are going to take place this year in Denver, Colorado, the second weekend of October. Excuse me, the first weekend of October.
I hear good things about Colorado.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful state.
Switchcraft has made her way through on this back straight on her initial pass, and just as she rounds to score, Donata calls off the jam. A pickup of 8-0 for the Montreal Sexpos. That's going to bring the point differential now to 33.
31. 33, yes. There we go. Sometimes we get the math.
Yeah, your math is on point, my friend. You're doing prime numbers and squares.
That's just memorization. All you got to do is memorize your primes and your squares. 2 minutes, 8 seconds left to play. This is a team timeout by the Wall Street Traitors. So the last game of the day is going to get a little late kickoff because this is dragging on. They're supposed to start at 10 and 8 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Not with the amount of time it takes these teams to warm up. You can see the Sexpos starting to hang around now in the outfield. Keen to get on, but unfortunately we have a game in progress.
The new skids.
Did I say Sexpos again?
You did, yes.
Ah.
And the crowd launches into Let's Go Sexpos. Jet Li is rocking along with them.
So Stefinity and Beyond up on the jam line for the Traitors. She's been one of the heaviest rotation jammers for the Traitors. Let's see what she can do. And we've got Tiny Fury jamming up for the Sexpos.
Track cut coming in. That is number 1, Mayday for JJ. First lead jam for the Wall Street Traitors since jam number 10.
Yeah, so this is going to be key now for the Traitors just to try and get some points back. And goes on the outside. Mr. Miss Painkiller manages with a hip check to bring Stefinity and Beyond right the way back to the pivot line.
Backblock called on Ladyfingers. Thins the pack out.
Tiny Fury manages just to squeak by Wildcard. Bellatrix, however, is out of bounds when she falls, so is sent back. And we've got a back block being called against
the jammer. This jam will go the full 2 minutes. That is a dagger in the heart.
Yeah, that's definitive beyond. This Tiny Fury now gets out.
Forearm penalty coming in. Who's leaving on the forearm? That is Muffin Topless.
So Tiny Fury tapping a wrist and saying, okay, let's do something now. And manages to put on a burst of speed and get around the outside of Tiny Apocalypse, picking up 4 points in the process. Ladyfingers comes back onto the track as Elizabeth tries to lend a hand holding those Traitors defenders back.
Almost like Ladyfingers is using Mayday for JJ as teammates for the block, kind of bracing their own 2-wall.
Stefinity Beyond now back on the track. One player left in the penalty box.
Spoke too soon, yep.
Until this player goes in.
Direction of play, who's leaving? Nobody yet.
It's Ladyfingers, number 5. So we've got 8 points up on the board for the Sexpos, 4 for the Wall Street Traitors. 9 minutes left on this period clock, and the jam clock is done. And I suspect that's our game done.
No, there's
we have
time
a
left. Yeah,
We
Gotham
have a
throws
timeout
their
called
timeout
by
up
Gotham.
there.
Sorry.
2 minutes left of the game.
So we have
I wish I had the house
jam.
mics because people are lining up for the high fives.
Yep. We've got a timeout being called. So we have one more jam left in this game.
Who was that jammer? I have my score sheets tracking. Who picked up those 10 points for Les Sexpos?
Tiny Fury.
There we go.
888. All the eights.
All the eights.
All the eights. So this has to be an absolute pivotal jam. It's not out of the realms of possibility.
9 scoring passes. 9 unanswered scoring passes for the win.
Yeah. It's not impossible.
It's improbable.
Yes, and unlikely.
Highest jam in the game was 23 points put on the board by 204. That is Scar2 Beat You back in jam number 8. So we'll have to do that and half again.
So Montreal have really had a stranglehold on this half now.
Yep.
So we're waiting for the whistle on the final jam of the game. Scar2 Beat You up against Hieronymus Boss. And it's Scar2 Beat You who goes around the outside of Tiny Apocalypse and picks up lead jam for the Sexpos. All she needs to do now is call off this jam and the Sexpos win.
But not going to do it. Enjoying the rush, the thrill of the crowd. And now says, okay, I got a few points. Let me salt this away.
Okay.
And now the fans are going to rush the track.
So with the unofficial score of 184-146, we're going to call this for the Sexpos by a significant margin.
Yes, what is that, 44? No, 38.
38 points. Standout players for you, Bobby?
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Star players. Let me mull on it. Too much going on in my head right now. But as announcers, we do get votes for MVPs, blockers, and jammers for each team. Going to be hard to pick. There are some really strong efforts out there today. So that is now an official final. Wall Street Traitors didn't have an official review to use. The Sexpos did, but why would they? So
right.
Final is 184 to 146.
So once again, we would like to thank New England Roller Derby Report. We'd like to thank Sociopath as their production sponsor. Sociopath is a skater-run business offering custom sewn to order legwear for teams and individuals. Size-inclusive activewear designed to fit you. Sociopath offers dozens of armbands and helmet cover options for scrimmage and competition. Team discounts are available. Please see sociopath.ca for more details. I've been Token Redshirt. I will see you again tomorrow.
I'm still Bobby Narco. Stick around for the next game. It's going to be Victorian versus Montreal. Should be an amazing matchup. Until then, I wish you peace, love, and roller derby.